So self-defense. Have you ever been to a class? Would you know how to handle yourself in, God forbid, if you were in that situation and someone grabs you when you least expecting it, tries to get hold of your bag, you're out in a pub and somebody's had far too much to drink and tries to threaten you. What would you do in that situation? Have you had to handle yourself in that situation? Running, I would imagine, is a very good choice in most of those situations. But do you distract him first and then run off? And how do you... So many questions. We'll find out. I had a little self-defense course yesterday. You'll hear how I got on in a moment. So have you ever found yourself in a situation where you felt quite vulnerable? Maybe felt as if you're being followed down a street or someone is giving you unwanted attention and invading your personal space? Well, one Derbyshire man wants to give advice for those situations in the form of self-defence. Mark Wingfield delivers self-defence classes for all ages and for all abilities. I must stress, though, please do not try this at home. Mark is a trained professional and we were in a controlled environment. So I met with Mark and asked him to explain what his classes are all about.
We actually work right across the spectrum, so we help people prevent stuff at work or outside of work, and even looking after people. I'm actually a trauma therapist as well, so people that have been attacked, we help them get back to work happily and safely as well.
So why did this start for you then?
Well, I've always been interested in martial arts ever since I was 17. I did Shotokan karate, and I've tried and dabbled in all sorts of different things over the years. And when I set up my own business in 2006, I thought, well, not really sure what I'm going to do. I'll do this kind of continuation of me working for the company I was at whilst I was thinking about what I'm going to do. One of those ideas was, I'm a passionate believer in people being able to look after themselves, be confident, be empowered. So I thought, well, can I do something with the conflict experience I've got and the self-defence? And it sort of grew from there.
Oh, I'm really disappointed in that, Mark. I thought you were going to say that you had been a victim of some kind of attack and thought, I'm never letting this happen to anyone again.
Well, there's been a few of those, or things across the years. You might have noticed that my stature is not particularly large. Mm-hmm. I'm actually one of three brothers. My two brothers are nearly 6 foot, and I'm the youngest. And at home, I wasn't subject to any horrible bullying by my brothers, and I learnt, because I had two much bigger brothers, to stand up for myself, because otherwise I wouldn't get heard. I would get teased relentlessly and not be able to fight back and so on, metaphorically fight back. Actually, I was, I think, quite aggressive as a little lad at school, and I just learnt how to not be a victim. I actually speak on self-defence and personal safety and so on. I have a story, which is a true story, about me being in the playing fields at school and people circling me, and they picked me out and said, "Let's get Wingfield." And I thought, hello, what's going on? And they all approached me, and I stood up shaking on my quaking legs, shivering like a jelly, and thought, no, this isn't happening. And I can't say the words on the radio that I said to them, but I actually said something along the lines of, right, I can't take you all on, but the first one that touches me, I'll break your nose. And I meant it, and I said it as I meant it, and they knew that I meant it. And what do you think happened?
Walked away?
They did.
Really?
Yeah, they all walked away because nobody was brave enough to be the first one. This is the sort of stuff that we teach. You can look as though you're not going to be a victim. Now, it doesn't always work, and that's why we do self-defence. We teach people, look, keep your eyes and ears open, really basic stuff, and then you'll avoid most of this stuff.
And the thing is, I mean, you're referring to kind of school days and teenage mentality and being younger, which we all automatically assume that's the most likely time that you might get yourself into a bit of trouble. But, you know, you could be a middle-aged woman out minding your own business, doing a spot of shopping, and someone could approach you and they're just out to mug you or whatever. You don't, you can never be sure when it could happen to you. Well,
that's very true. And if you are engrossed in your mobile phone and looking at your mobile phone, you lose your God-given right. I've just, for the sake of radio listeners here, I've just brought out my phone.
He has his phone.
But if I'm looking at my phone, my God-given gift of peripheral vision is largely taken away. And so it's simple things like that we say, look, don't jog around with your earbuds or whatever they're called. Keep your eyes and ears open, because in the age of electric cars, you might get knocked over because you haven't seen a car, you know, something like that. Or just little things, you're not comfortable with a guy walking towards you on the other side of the street who crosses the road towards you, well, cross the road yourself. Get away from it. Go to where there are people. Go into a shop and say, can I just stay here because there's this creep following me?
I mean, you do need to listen to your gut, don't you? Because your gut could be wrong, but it's better to err on the side of caution.
Well, we all have to talk about evolution, how we've sort of, developed into these finer beings and all the rest of it. Our evolution has been that we learn to pick out predators, and we learn that gut feel. A lot of time people don't actually listen to it. So they go down that dark alley thinking, oh, it'll be all right. Yeah, most of the time it will be, but sometimes it won't. And you see a couple of lads in front of you, and they're having a laugh, and they're pointing at you, and you think, ooh, I wonder what that is. I wonder what's going on over there. But you still walk towards them. Why do you do that? So you're in control until somebody takes it away from you. So turn round and go the other way. Save yourself a lot of aggro.
We've already started talking about those ways of avoiding a terrible situation, but that's not always possible every time. So, Mark, you have the most enormous bag of tricks here in front of us. You've got a padded suit, including the most enormous helmet I've ever seen. It's a padded nappy as well, because essentially you put this on in order that I can properly give it some welly and fight back.
Yes, this is not an ordinary self-defense martial arts course. It's designed to recreate the fear that we will all feel if there's a real situation happening. If somebody grabs you, shouts at you, approaches you with a bit of a horrible look on their face, or with some vitriolic abuse or whatever it happens to be, we create that fear in a very safe environment, just within a community hall or whatever it is, and we are very nice when we do that. People sign a piece of paper to say, yes, it's okay to, say nasty words to me and be abusive and all the rest of it.
I haven't signed any piece of paper. I've not seen this.
No.
I didn't sign up for this. Right, I tell you what then. You get your suit on, get yourself padded up, because I mean business, Mark.
Okay.
I've been speaking to Mark Wingfield, who runs self-defense classes. Now, Mark, as we left things, is about to show me some moves that you could use if you ever feel like you're in a threatening situation. I'm going to stress this again. Please do not try this at home. Mark is a trained professional, and we were in a controlled environment. And the whole point of going on courses like these is to be shown the right way of going about it. So first, Mark showed me a move called the bird beak.
I'm just going to grab you by the throat.
Yeah, that's perfectly all right, apparently.
So if I'm doing that, you've got an immediate need to make sure that I let go.
So that's why I would put my hands in this bird's beak thing and attack your eyes.
Yeah.
Even though you've got glasses on.
Yeah, it's going to hurt.
So if someone grabs you by the throat, the best thing to do is this move.
Yeah, because they're looking to kill you. So this will stop somebody.
And when I do it, I'm the one who's shouting, eyes.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Nobody...
Just to be loud, basically. I could shout anything, presumably.
It's all about the fear.
Yeah.
Just transferring that fear to the other person. And you've got the fear inside you to really turn that fear into rocket fuel.
So Mark's basically got these pads. They're like little boxing pads, really, if you've ever done any kind of box fit or anything. I've got my hands in this beak position, and I'm pretending these are your eyes.
Yes.
And I've got to shout eyes, and hit as hard as I can.
So as you hit the pad, shout eyes.
Eyes!
That'll work.
Did that hurt?
Well, I can't speak for the pad.
Sorry,
Didn't
pad.
hurt me.
Right, there we go. Next one.
The palm heel strike. Now, the reason we do this, now most people think you punch with your fists, don't you? Well, if you do that, I'm going to break lots of little bones in my hand. This is a way to hit somebody hard, but not actually break any bones. So you use the padded part of your palm. Right. It's called a palm heel strike, but it's much better than actually punching and breaking your fingers. Yeah. Like any of the strikes, it's whatever target presents itself. This is just go for whatever you've got available, and we teach you 5 very basic strikes, so you can use whichever one is more appropriate at the time, and then you run away.
It's almost like a distraction technique, isn't it? To go,
absolutely,
I'm not having this. You do your bit. That disorientates them potentially enough for you to be able to take flight.
And you stay the right side of the law.
Yeah.
On the course, we also teach you about your right to self-defence, but what is actually reasonable force as well.
Yeah.
So
palm heel.
You first of all stick your elbow up like that, and you're hitting with that bit there.
Which is the heel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and you do it in the sort of propelling it forward like that.
Okay. So the strength is coming from the movement of your arm.
Yeah. So it's a bit like a punch.
And that's the better way to do it than a punch.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll get about as much power but without hurting yourself.
Okay. So same pads as we did before. It's as if this is the eye, but it could be any part.
You've naturally moved into a more stable position, which is great.
Okay. Right. So.
Done with that. Now that would hurt.
Yes. It hasn't hurt me. I didn't yell though.
Yeah, well, we encourage people to do it at the same time.
I like that bit. I'm quite good at the yelling bit.
Yeah, you are. But if you say palm this time,
Okay.
so after 3, 1, 2, 3.
Palm!
Excellent.
That is quite empowering, that, isn't it?
It is, and the thing is...
What else can I do? Right, final one then, Mark. What have you got?
Well, the one that everybody knows, but probably doesn't know how to do it in real life,
Okay.
is... Well, what do you think? What's the one that... Let's say it's a male aggressor.
And attacking a woman. I think it's going to factor the groin, isn't it?
It's going to factor the groin,
Yes,
you're quite right.
yes.
So we teach a knee strike.
Is that usually the instinctual thing that a woman would do on a male attacker?
Well, it's interesting that you used the word instinct, because you've got to overcome the fear first. Most people, or a lot of people, actually go, and you can't see this on radio, but they would just freeze. Their cognitive function isn't working because you're back to your reptilian brain, which is supposed to be your fight or flight reserve, but actually there's one that most people don't talk about, which is the freeze bit, and it stops you doing anything, so you become an easy victim, an easy target. We don't want people fighting. This is such a brilliant deterrent. It won't always work because, you know, that's not life. That's why we do self-defense. We don't want people fighting, but if they're going to have to fight, we want them to be able to survive and get away safely. So,
Oh, that's quite a lot you've got going on there, Mark.
there's plenty of padding. Normally, you would actually grab onto somebody and pull them down to you as you're striking up. So feel free to do that.
Oh, God. I've never, ever had to knee a bloke in the groin.
Most people haven't. And this is the point about the course. Most people haven't had a proper fight ever. It's a massive confidence boost because you realise that you can deal with a fight
Yes.
if you had to.
So this scenario, as you say, my natural way to do it would be I would grab your shoulders and pull you down and then knee up.
That's right.
You are a brave, brave man,
Well, I'm
Mark.
quite well
Or
protected.
bonkers. I don't know which way to look at it,
Probably a
really.
little bit of both.
A little bit of both, okay. Ready?
I'm all right.
Oh, dear. Actually, that hurt my knee. I gave it a bit of force, that, didn't I?
This could be in a nightclub. Come on, darling. You know, and I'm putting my hands where they shouldn't be. But if you're alone in the street, what do you do then? So this is where you might even think, oh, you're thinking through your plan. I'll go down that road, and this guy's getting closer and closer and saying what he's going to do to you and all the rest of it, and you just stop him doing it.
So the course is when, for who, where?
The course is over 4 weeks. It starts the 11th of March at the St James's Centre on Malcolm Street in Derby, and there's no age limit. We've had people in their 70s come on the course. We've had people in wheelchairs on courses. We've had blind people. We've had mute people. We've had deaf people. We don't restrict people coming on the course. People kind of self-limit themselves.
And plus, the bit you missed out was that people get to punch you.
Yeah, they like that for some reason. I don't know why.
Joking aside, I mean, it did feel quite empowering, but of course, you know, you're in a safe environment. And Mark was very kind to me, in fairness, in my one-to-one. He showed me just flashes of how realistic and aggressive he will act scenarios out. A couple of times he really made me jump because he just shouted when I didn't expect it, which of course is likely to be what would happen. It will happen and you won't be expecting it. God forbid, but if it does happen, that would be the situation. So then what do? How quick are your reactions going to be? If you want to find out more about Mark's self-defense courses in Derby, then go online to the website maxconflictmanagement, all one word, .com.